So here is Eton on day 54, back at Rock Creek. So back at home. So I had a little bit of a lighter day since he had a couple of big days, and just back with playing with the flag. Now, Eton was not a fan of the flag at all. The slightest sight of the flag would send him almost through the panels. So it's been kind of a process of getting him to accept the flag and learning how to control his emotions a little bit when he gets upset. So completely different from Y regarding the flag, where Y was really curious about it. Eton was very reactive about it. So working on adding the pressure of the flag, and then when he comes to me, it stops. So he can start to learn to control a little bit of some of the scenarios. And then just working on getting him to follow. He kind of stopped following there, so then I just went the flag up and down, and then the minute he stopped moving, I walked away. So just playing with a couple of different concepts. The idea of intent, so when I want him to move, and then the idea of when I want him to kind of stand. So thinking about that stuff while I'm doing it. There, that was really good. Give him a nice reward for that. And he gets a little worried about the right side, so I'm just going to hold it here until he stops. And then go to the right side touch, and then ask him to move a little. See if we can get the follow. There, we got a nice lick and chew. And he was handling the flag beyond both sides, and so that's when I decided to quit, and that was a good day for him. I'm just going to finish off the session with asking him to come to me. And he does a good job of that. He's a little distracted with another horse over there, but overall, I was really happy with this session with him. He did a really good job. So now the next day, we are back at North Atlanta Equestrian. And I am giving Y his first, real scrub-a-dub-dub bath. He was pretty dirty. The joys of having a paint horse. He handles this pretty well. I was able to scrub him kind of head to toe, spraying him off, and then washing him off, rinsing him off with the hose, and then scraping as well. So got him all nice and clean and dry, and then back into the round pen so we can start doing some work with the saddle. Just getting him used to this little bit of a heavier pad, which he handles pretty well. And now I'm going to grab my saddle, which for kind of the beginning sessions with them, I use my Wintech, which is really light, so can save my arms a little bit if I have to kind of go up and down, if they get a little nervous. He was just backing up because he saw me playing with the rope. That was pretty good. So I cinched him up very lightly, asked him to take a step forward, and then asked him to move around. Again, I like to tighten up the girth kind of slowly. I don't like to really crank it up on them and then send them off. He seems to be doing pretty well. Trotted around both ways, didn't really seem to mind it. Kind of like a couple of days ago when he had the surcingle on, kind of no problem. But then I decided he needed to move around because, again, I was pretty sure he had a little bit of something in there. And sure enough, as soon as he started to canter, there was the buck that I figured he had in there. So I'm going to stay in the center and kind of keep him moving forward. Let him work it out. And then again, I'm going to ask him to keep going forward into the canter. And again, I'm using a voice cue as well. I like to make the smooch sound to teach them to canter so he knows that, as well as the pressure that I'm using from the rope. And then we change directions. Again, ask for the canter. And now there's nothing else. So he just had his one little yeehaw moment. And then he seemed to figure it out pretty quickly. And now he's a lot freer. I've put now another buoy on the inside. So he's got something bumping him around his flank. Handles that pretty well. And then I've added, go and add another. So now he's got both on both sides. He's got the stirrups. This doesn't really seem to bother him. I just think it felt a little bit different and why I thought he would figure it out how to get it off. But after his one little moment, he seems to be nice and free. And handling the buoys pretty well.
Come on, Mom.
That was pretty good. Got a nice lick and chew. Give him a nice rub. So now I'm going to work on getting on. I'm placing my foot in the stirrup and just kind of hopping up and down. Gets a little nervous, but that's okay. Just pop right off and continue walking. For me, sometimes I find it helps the horses to stay relaxed, to allow them to move around. And myself, it helps me stay relaxed. Again, it's just a little bit of a different sensation for him. And just practicing moving that saddle all around him, wiggling. I don't want anything to kind of stay super still. He handled that really well. And again, that was really good. So just walking away, getting on, getting off. Kind of leaning on his neck. You'll see I kind of climb all over him. So this is part of the thing for where I want my horses comfortable. If something is to happen and I do fall around their neck, I kind of want them kind of used to that to where they don't get tense and buck even harder. So you'll see I'm kind of all over them a little bit. So on the right side, I just put my knee because again, I'm not as coordinated on the right side. Back to the left. I'm able to almost swing a leg over. And then I'm just playing around right here. It feels pretty good. So making sure I pat the saddle, pat his bum, make the sounds. Swing my leg over. I take my foot out of the stirrup so I don't get stuck. If anything's to happen, I can pop right off. And again, that was really good. And this feels really good. Oh, now again, just playing around, seeing if they'll let me just pop off to the side. Takes a little bit. I have to make sure I trust them for them to trust me. He handled that really well. Even came into me a step. So again, kind of in the beginning, I like to allow them to move their feet. I do oftentimes go back and have to teach them to stand when I get on them, but that's a pretty easy thing to go back and fix. I'd much rather have that than have a horse that kind of gets really tense and sticky in the beginning to go forward. So I took the saddle off and then decided to pop back on him bareback to see if I could get him to move forward. It was his first time with the saddle, so I felt like that was a good introduction to it. And then I wanted to see if I could get him to move his feet a little bit more. But I decided that since I'm a little bit more comfortable bareback, I would just do it bareback. So trying to get him to just move forward off of the leg. And now I'm going to see if I can suggest him to start to trot next to me. So then I can get the forward motion going, and then I can hop on while he's trotting. So he gets used to having some weight on him while he's trotting. It's just a different sensation for them. So then I'm going to increase. I did that a couple of times. Now I'm going to see if I can just increase the pressure. And there he goes into trot pretty well. Feels pretty relaxed. Then asking him to stop by changing my balance. And again, asking him to trot. And he's doing really good. I don't really care where he's going. I just want him to go forward. He just likes to stop over there by Eton, which is fairly normal. I'm going to keep asking him to go forward. And then I'm going to ask him to stop here. That was super good. Really, really happy with why and how he is doing. I'm going to get him to go and trot the other way now. He's getting even looser. And again, now playing on the stop, they can tend to pick up pretty easily the change in your seat. So I work on kind of having my seat really up and down on a little forward tilt to the pelvis as you're teaching them in the beginning. And then you're really going to want to exaggerate when you go to do a stop. So you see my legs are wrapped around him. And I'm in the forward position. And then I'm going to ask to stop. And he did that really nicely. Again, just really happy with why and how he did today. He was super good. Gave me a nice lick and chew. It was a good day for why.